Hello everyone, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC, and what's this all about? Clean cutters and new gear for the shed. Well, we'll start off with the new gear for the shed. Postman's been today, and I've had lots of whinges about fix your audio, and we'll give it a go. I don't know whether I can deal with the tech. The physical part isn't too bad, but trying to edit it later might be a bit of a problem for me. The package I have, Pinnacle, is huge, it does a lot, and it tangles me up in bloody knots almost every time I use it. But it's a wireless mic outfit that can feed back to the camera, so it should record reasonably well, and hopefully I'll still be able to drag the audio out of the camera, so it won't be a separate editing line in the script. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Usually when I get a load of cutters to sharpen, I get a biscuit tin full of swarf, a shovel full of gravel, and a dozen cutters just thrown in a heap, and that presents two problems. I get a whinging bastard that doesn't want to pay me for cleaning his mess, and I don't like wasting my time being someone else's janitor. It doesn't hurt the sender to clean the crap out of the box. But secondly, the cutters are having a good conversation all the way over here, and many years ago I was supplying cutting tools to tool makers, and if the taps did not arrive brand new in a plastic box, they were rejected because the material they were tapping was that critical that if the taps had even the slightest chip, they could lose a $30,000 component. And that's where hygiene with high-speed steel cutters was drilled into me, if you like. Now these arrived on the weekend in a nice bag, in an ice cream container, very good. They're all in good nick, they've been cleaned, they've been oiled. I would have liked to have seen them wrapped in newspaper, and that's what I do when I dispatch new cutters. If I've got this many, I'll heat up the wax bath, dip the end of the cutter, put two on a piece of newspaper back to back, and then roll them and turn them up, and that secures them in the box for express post back to the customer, and there's never been any damage that way. It's quite a good method to ship them. This is a real mixed bag of cutters, so I'll bring you in to have a bit of a look, and it's a good demo of the different styles of grinding cutters that you can have. I'll try and get the camera in a better position. Okay, bye for now. I'll shift the camera in and zoom in. First up, you can have a look at the top of the bench. It's something you may never see again. It doesn't often get a tidy this good. Okay, zoom you in. Try and get a better shot on, hopefully we won't lose focus. It's a good mixture of cutters, several different brands in there. We've got Rotorbore, genuine Rotoboach, Ozcut, which are these three here. These cutters are made in Australia, and quite a different pattern in the flute to the others. That cutter there has been into this shed before, or previous shed, and it's been reground to my spec, and it just needs a bit of a lick. The owner of the cutters is very fussy. His workshop was always spotless, and these cutters, well, you can just barely see the cutting edge. You can just see it's taken a nick off a couple of the teeth. You could probably get another 10 or 20 holes out of each cutter, and most people do. They flog them until they fail. All the cutters bar that one, I will probably have to gullet. I may even gullet that one to get a bit more room, because they still have alternate teeth spacing. No, that one's been back in as well. So there's two that have been here. They still have that horrible factory spacing, and I don't like that. I don't think it gives you decent cutter life. So I'll be setting up to do just a bit of offhand gullet grinding. But no, very good presentation. I wish all orders came in that condition. It just makes it so much easier for me. Okay, we'll get over to the grinder and do a bit of work. Okay guys, a bit of basic instruction here on grinding annular cutters. First off, I clamp the cutter in the collet in the front of the head. I then set the tooth to be ground at centre height, and that is adjustable up on the micrometer stop at the top. Now I do vary it a little bit sometimes to get better clearance in behind the cutting edge, because you've got to grind right in to the back of the gullet area if you can. Now, believe it or not, I've seen some factory round cutters that didn't have that, but sometimes it's not really easy, especially with some of the Asian cutters where they decide to put 2 or 3 extra flutes in there to give you better value for money. Well, it just gives you a pain in the bum. So I normally have the head swung around so that I can look in from this direction, and I hope you can see that. I can't see the monitor screen at the moment, but if you can look in from there, you can eyeball that centre height correct. If you were doing a lot of the same cutter, I would have a centre gauge, like a Cincinnati centre gauge up from the table to set centre height. I don't know that that's really necessary, and usually I have the cutting edge being ground a little bit below centre of the wheel, and that allows the rear of the wheel to escape before it gets the following tooth, mostly. Okay, now I move the cutter in until I estimate that the rim of the wheel is going to grind the facet behind the cutting edge where I want it to. I then set the table stop, so that is the limit of travel. And one thing you have to do, this cutter's been ground by me, so it's symmetrical or asymmetric. Symmetrical would be the word, I suppose. You go through and try and find out if you've got any high teeth, because that's the tooth you want to start out on. If you start out on a high tooth, you don't get any surprises. Start out on a long one, and you can go from taking 1 or 2 thou to taking 30 thou when the whole lot goes kafut, and it's not very much fun. Okay, I'll start the wheel up and sneak up on it and take a few thou. Sorry about the noise, no joy. It's a little bit far. Now that's the stop. Round up. Okay, you just hear that touch off. Yep, no, they're going too far. Didn't set that stop all that good. And I'm grinding into the preceding tooth, I think. We'll give that a bit of a go, see what that's like. You weren't supposed to see that. That's off. It's so awkward trying to do this and film it. It's like all the teeth aren't the same length. You've got to allow for the collop and the setup. This collop's done thousands of cutters that might have a little bit of wear. We go in about 2 thou. Yep, that's touch off. There's a little bit of uneven wear on the front of this cutter, but we'll get there shortly. Yep. Another 2 thou. Now at this point I'll stick my big fat head over the back and just see in from there how far the inner land is progressing, because as we're grinding the inner land is gradually moving out towards the periphery of the cutter. And I think one more pass and we'll be right through the route of the other facet. No, I buggered that again. I'll set up again and bring it back in. And here we have another problem when you're filming on your own. You tend to leave some things a bit loose. I hadn't tightened up the pivot lock nut. Fall on sword there, but luckily no accident. You pick these things up many ways. You have an accident, thank God it wasn't, but also the sound is just not right. Instead of a nice crisp grinding sound, you get a bleh, which sounds a bit horrible. So without anything running, I'll try and zoom you in via the zoom function. That's about as far as I can get without it going out of focus, and you'll see the tooth pass across the face of the wheel. Now I am dressing this wheel back a little bit. You can see we're only grinding on the outer couple of millimetres and the rest has been ground back in towards the centre of the wheel. That gives you a much cooler grinding action. Okay, I now have to reposition the head around to grind the other facet. I'll bring you back out. I had hoped moving to this shed would give me a lot more space, but I'm being a bit greedy with machines. And I think I've actually got a little bit less than I had previously. Eventually I hope to open up the other side of the shed, but we've got a lot of work to do before then. And now we're grinding the outer facet. That should be far enough. We'll make a bit of noise and get that ground. Okay, we just let it touch off and back around to the next one. And we'll throw a few more thou in. That sounds a bit better. Couple more thou. It's a bit awkward for me at the moment as I can't be where I want to be. I've just tightened up all the gibs and adjusted everything. And for a few cutters it's going to be fairly difficult to operate. It's only plain slides on this grinder. Okay. That's this cutter ground. And I hope it's not too ugly when I knock it out. And yes, I do have a little bit of regrinding to do. You can see where I've just nicked the following tooth, and that comes from not paying attention and leaving the base loose. So I'll throw it back up there, take a bit more off both facets, and then present it again. Okay, bye for now. Okay, cutter is reground, and I hope you can pick up the facets. And this isn't the high performance grinding wheel, this is the standard Norton 38A in 60 grit, and man, the finish on that cutter is just superb. Sorry about before, it's just really frustrating when I'm trying to get in and work the cutter grinder where you guys want to have a look, and the two just aren't compatible when you're working it all on your own. It's most bloody uncomfortable trying to do it that way. Okay, I'll bring you in the rest of the cutters are done and we're doing the waxing up. Bye for now. Hello everyone, back again. I've got some cutters just recently ground, and I'll show you how I coat them with hot wax. Yes, it's an old chip fryer, and it helps to protect the cutting edge, stops it corroding and getting banged up in transport. And what I normally do is just let them air dry for a little bit, put them on a bit of newspaper, back to back, roll it up, turn the ends over, and that's good enough for transport. It's amazing how much damage can get done to high-speed steel cutters if you let them chatter and give them a bit of grief. So these should be dry enough now. Just back to back like that. No high technology here. Just a sausage roll. Okay, I'll line the cutters up on the bench here and bring you in. You can have a look at what the finish is like. Okay, there's a look at the group of shiny cutters, those I haven't coated yet. Now, one thing a lot of customers don't consider when you're sharpening cutters, they say, what, you charge that much? It's only a 2-minute job. Well, some cutters it's a 2-minute job, some it's a 22-minute job, and there's a lot of setup changes because of the different length of cutters. You've got to move the cutter grinder bed forward. And there's a few techniques I'll show you in one of my tool grinding videos that I've got coming up in a grinding course, how to change the centre height on the wheel to get clearance behind the cutting edge, and also to change the included angle of the edge to make it a little bit easier to grind. Some of the manufacturers, such as the fellow that made this cutter and that cutter, leave almost no flute space, and it is really hard to get in behind the trailing facet, if you'd like to call it that, and get clearance right through to the back of the gullet. So there's a few techniques there. Not all of them work all of the time, but some of them work all of the time. Okay, bye for now. Please like and subscribe, and I'll try and get this up the next couple of days for you.